I thought the worst thing my ex ever gave me was trauma until a package arrived, with no return address, containing a doll that looked exactly like me. It watched me learned my voice, whispered my memories, and tried to kill me while the police called it hysteria. By the time they realized the truth, the deep web had already sold my name, my past, and my fear as a contractin, even after the doll burned to ash. I learned the most terrifying part wasn't surviving it, but knowing someone, somewhere, had paid for it to happen. The package arrived on a Tuesday morning, the kind of quiet day where nothing bad is supposed to happen. Rain tapped softly against my apartment window as I signed for the delivery, barely glancing at the label. No return address, just my full name, spelled perfectly first, middle, last. That alone made my stomach tighten. The box was heavier than it looked. I placed it on the kitchen table and stared at it for a long moment, listening to the hum of the refrigerator and my own breathing. I told myself it was just an online order I had forgotten, but deep down, I knew that wasn't true. I hadn't ordered anything in weeks, and none of my friends sent surprises without warning. I cut the tape. The smell hit me first dusty, metallic, and faintly sweet, like old cloth left in a closed room. Inside, wrapped in layers of black fabric, was a doll. It was handmade, crude, but detailed enough to make my hands start shaking. The doll had long black hair sewn unevenly into its scalp. Its skin was pale, fabric, stained in places, stitched with dark thread that looked disturbingly like dried blood. The eyes were glassy and wide, too realistic, reflecting my face as I leaned closer. Then I noticed the resemblance, the shape of the mouth, the small scar above the left eyebrow, even the mole on the neck, my breath caught in my throat as a wave of cold crawled up my spine. This wasn't just a random doll. This was me. Tucked beneath it was a small folded note. No greeting, no explanation. Just one word written in jagged ink. Alex, my vision blurred as memories I had buried clawed their way back to the surface. Alex, the man who loved too intensely, who hated just as deeply. The one who never accepted the breakup, who sent messages at 3 a.m., who said things like, "If I can't have you, no one should." I hadn't heard from him in over a year. My hands trembled as I dropped the note. I told myself he was just trying to scare me. A sick joke, a final act of bitterness. But something about the doll felt wrong. It wasn't just disturbing. It felt heavy, in a way that had nothing to do with weight. I wrapped it back in the cloth and shoved the box into the closet, slamming the door shut harder than necessary. My heart wouldn't slow down. Every sound in the apartment felt louder, sharper. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. I kept thinking about the doll's eyes, how they seemed almost aware. Before I fell asleep, one thought echoed relentlessly in my mind. How did he know details about me that no one else knew? And somewhere in the darkness of my apartment, something waited patiently, as if it had finally come home. Night changed my apartment. In daylight, it was just a small rented space, with pale walls and cheap furniture. But once the sun disappeared, shadows thickened, stretching unnaturally along the corners, clinging to the ceiling like dark stains that refused to fade. The air felt heavier after midnight, as if the rooms themselves were holding their breath. I told myself the doll was locked away. I had shoved the box deep into the closet, behind winter coats and old suitcases, and turned the key until I heard the click. Still, as I lay in bed that first night, sleep refused to come. My eyes kept drifting to the closet door, half expecting it to tremble. That was when the feeling started, the unmistakable sensation of being watched. Not a mug done, vague but precise, focused, like a gaze pressing against my skin. I shifted under the blanket, my heart tapping faster with every second. The room was silent except for the ticking clock on the wall, each second loud enough to feel like a countdown. I squeezed my eyes shut. You're tired, I told myself. Your brain is playing tricks on you. When I finally fell asleep, it was shallow and broken, filled with dreams of stitched faces and glass eyes, blinking in the dark. Morning light woke me. For a moment, I forgot everything. Then I sat up and froze. The closet door was open. The box sat on the floor. My chest tightened painfully as I climbed out of bed, each step slow, deliberate, as if the apartment might snap at me if I moved too quickly. I knelt beside the box and peeled back the fabric with shaking fingers. The doll stared up at me. It was closer to the door than I remembered, its head tilted slightly to the side. Asif Kudio. The glass eyes reflected the morning light, making them look almost wet. I slammed the fabric shut and stood abruptly, dizzy with fear. I must have forgotten to lock it. I must have sleepwalked. Excuses stacked in my mind like fragile glass, ready to shatter at the slightest pressure. That day, I moved the doll again, this time into the storage room at the end of the hallway. I wrapped it in garbage bags, taped them tight, and placed it inside a plastic container. I even stacked heavy boxers on top, sealing the lid with a padlock. When I returned to my apartment, I triple-checked every lock. That night, the feeling came back stronger. The air grew cold, despite the heater humming. My skin prickled, every nerve alert. I felt eyes on my back when I turned off the lights, eyes following me as I walked to my bedroom. I didn't look behind me. I lay under the blanket, barely breathing. The darkness pressed close, thick and intimate. Every small sound, the creak of the building, the hiss of pipes felt deliberate, like footsteps, trying to disguise themselves. Then, I heard it, a soft sound scrape. I sat up so fast my neck ached. The sound came again, slow and deliberate, like fabric dragging across the floor. My gaze locked onto the bedroom doorway. The hallway beyond was pitch black. "Hello?" My voice cracked. No answer. I didn't sleep at all. When dawn finally came, I forced myself to walk to the storage room. My hands shook as I unlocked the door. The container was open. The garbage bags were torn. The doll was gone. I stumbled backward, panic roaring in my ears. My heart pounded so hard it felt like it might tear free from my chest. I searched every corner of the apartment, opening cabinets, checking behind doors, even lifting the shower curtain. 10 primera sa, W Italiano. The doll sat on the living room couch, neatly, upright. Its stitched hands rested on its lap. Its head faced the hallway facing my bedroom. I screamed and kicked it across the room. The doll hit the wall with a dull thud and collapsed onto the floor. For several seconds, nothing happened. My breathing came in short, ragged gasps. Tears burned my eyes as adrenaline flooded my veins. "I'm losing my mind," I whispered. I picked it up with trembling hands and shoved it into a trash bag. I dragged it outside and dumped it into the communal garbage bin behind the building. I didn't look back. That night, I locked myself in my bedroom. Around those a.m., I woke suddenly, my heart racing before I knew why. The room was colder than before, my breath visible in the faint moonlight. Slowly, unwillingly, my eyes shifted toward the foot of the bed. The doll stood there, not sitting, standing. Its head lifted slowly, stitch by stitch, until the glass eyes met mine. A soft clicking sound came from inside it, like joints settling into place. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. The doll's mouth twitched just slightly as if practicing how to smile. That was the moment I understood the truth, chilling and undeniable. This wasn't stress. This wasn't fear, and whatever had been sent to me was no longer pretending to be a doll. I don't remember falling asleep. I remember lying there, eyes open, staring at the faint crack in the ceiling, where the paint peeled like a wound that never healed. The apartment was unnaturally quiet, the kind of silence that presses against your ears until you start hearing things that aren't they're your own pulse. Your breath, the distant echo of pipes that sound like whispers if you listen too closely. I had locked everything. The door, the windows, even the bathroom. I told myself that if I stayed awake long enough, nothing could happen. That was the last rational thought I had. Sleep took me without warning, dragging me under like cold water closing over my head. Something sharp raked across my skin. I jolted awake with a strangled gasp, my body jerking violently against the mattress. Pain exploded across my arm, hot, stinging, immediate. For a split second, my mind refused to understand what I was feeling. Then I smelled it. Blood. My heart slammed against my ribs as I looked down. Thin red lines ran across my forearm, shallow but unmistakable, beading and dripping onto the sheets. The pain throbbed in time with my heartbeat, each pulse louder than the last. "What?" My voice came out, hoarse, barely a sound. The room was dark, lit only by the pale glow of the streetlight leaking through the curtains. Shadows stretched and twisted along the walls, making the space feel unfamiliar, hostile. Then I felt the weight. Pressure on my chest. I tried to inhale and couldn't. My breath caught halfway, trapped, my lungs screaming for air. Panic surged instantly, raw and uncontrollable. I looked down slowly, dread crawling up my spine, every instinct begging me not to. The doll was sitting on my chest, not lying, sitting. Its small, stitched legs straddled my ribs, its weight far heavier than it should have been. The glass eyes stared directly into mine, unblinking, reflecting my terror back at me in miniature. In the dim light, its own mouth curved upward. It was smiling. My mind fractured. This wasn't possible. This couldn't be happening. The doll was gone. I had thrown it away. I'd watched it disappear into the garbage bin like trash, like something harmless. Yet here it was, alive. I tried to scream, but the sound stuck in my throat. My arms flailed weakly, sluggish, as if the air itself had thickened into glue. The doll tilted its head slowly, deliberately, mimicking the movement I had made days before when I first unwrapped it. Pain flared again. I felt a scratching, then small, precise movements against my skin. Its fingers, stiff with thread and fabric, dragged across my collarbone, my neck, my other arm. Each scrape burned, leaving fresh lines of fire behind. Tears streamed down my temples, soaking into the pillow. "No," I whispered. "Please, no." The doll leaned closer. I could hear something inside it, now a faint clicking, a soft shifting sound, like bones settling into place. Its face moved closer to mine, so close I could see the uneven stitches, the tiny dark stains embedded in the fabric. Then it raised one hand, slowly, carefully, as if savoring the moment. That was when something inside me snapped. Primera, escrea, meth. The sound tore out of my chest, raw and animal, echoing violently through the apartment. The scream broke the paralysis, shattered the invisible weight pinning me down. The doll went limp. Instantly, its weight vanished, collapsing onto my chest like a sack of cloth. The glass eyes dulled, losing their shine. The smile sagged into an empty, stitched curve. Just.
Oda.
I shoved it off me and scrambled backward, falling out of bed and hitting the floor hard. Pain flared through my hip, but I barely felt it. I crawled away until my back hit the wall, my breath coming in short, hysterical gasps. The doll lay motionless on the sheets, silent, dead. I waited. Seconds stretched into minutes. My ears rang as adrenaline slowly loosened its grip. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. The doll didn't twitch, didn't blink, didn't smile. I forced myself to stand, my legs shaking so badly I nearly collapsed. My entire body ached, my skin burning where it had touched me. Blood smeared the sheets, the pillow, my arm. I ran. I flipped on every light in the apartment, flooding the rooms with harsh brightness. Shadows retreated but didn't disappear completely. They just huddled closer to corners. Waiting, I grabbed my phone with trembling hands and dialed emergency services, barely able to speak through sobs. They arrived within minutes, red and blue lights flashing violently against the walls. 2 officers stepped inside, their expressions cautious, skeptical. "There's no sign of forced entry," one of them said after checking the door. "Locks are intact." I laughed, then high, broken, hysterical. "Of course there isn't," I said. "It didn't come from outside." They exchanged a glance. I showed them my arms, my neck. The scratches were real, fresh, still bleeding slightly. One officer frowned, his confidence faltering just a little. "And the doll, asket." I pointed to the bed. It lay there exactly as I had left it. Harmless. Ridiculous. A cheap, ugly toy. One officer picked it up, turning it over in his hands. I squeezed it, shook it lightly. Nothing. It's just a doll, he said gently. You've been under stress. Maybe you hurt yourself in your sleep. I wanted to scream at him again. I wanted to grab his shoulders and beg him to understand, but the words wouldn't come. How could they? I barely understood myself. They left after taking a statement I couldn't remember giving. The apartment felt emptier afterward. Louder. I cleaned the blood from the sheets with shaking hands and shoved the doll into a drawer, slamming it shut. I pushed a chair against the bedroom door and sat on the floor until morning, my back pressed against the wall, eyes wide open. Every sound made me flinch. Every shadow looked wrong. When sunlight finally crept through the window, weak and pale, I didn't feel relief. Because deep down, beneath the fear and the pain, one horrifying certainty settled into my bones. It had attacked me once, and now it knew how to do it again. I didn't want to see Alex. Every instinct screamed at me to stay away, to lock myself inside my apartment and pretend his name had never existed. But fear has a way of demanding answers, even when the answers hurt. The doll had worn his name like a mask, and I needed to rip it off no matter what was underneath. I found the hospital address through an old contact. My hands shook the entire ride there, my mind replaying memories of Alex's voice, his temper, the way his affection had always felt one step away from obsession. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and silence. At the reception desk, I hesitated. I'm here to see Alex Carter, I said quietly. The nurse checked her screen. Room 417, he's stable, but don't stay too long. My stomach dropped. Stable. That wasn't a word you used for someone living a normal life. Room 417 was dim, the curtains half drawn. Machines hummed softly, filling the air with mechanical breathing. Alex lay on the bed, thinner than I remembered. His skin pale, dark circles carved beneath his eyes. For a terrifying moment, I wondered if he was dead. Then his eyes opened. They widened when he saw me. You. His voice was weak, cracking. Why are you here? I stood frozen near the door, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. You sent me something, I said. The words came out sharper than I intended. A doll. You put your name on it. Confusion flickered across his face. Then fear. What? He tried to sit up and winced, collapsing back onto the pillow. No, I didn't. I swear to you, I stepped closer despite myself. Don't lie to me, Alex. I almost died. His breath hitched. What are you talking about? I told him. About the package. The doll. The scratches, waking up with it on my chest. With every word, his expression drained of color. His hands clenched the blanket, knuckles white. That's not possible, he whispered. I haven't left this hospital in months. I laughed bitterly. Do you think I wanted to come here? Do you think I want this to be real? He swallowed hard. Look, he said, his voice trembling. I know I hurt you. I know I scared you back then, but I would never do this. Never. I stared at him, searching for anger, cruelty, satisfaction-y. Familiar, all I saw was terror. I've been here since March, he continued urgently. After the breakdown, you remember, when I lost my job, when everything collapsed. I nodded slowly. I remembered the messages, the spiraling paranoia. The night he had called me crying, then screaming, then crying again. They admitted me the next day, he said. Psych ward first, then medical complications. Panic attacks so bad I couldn't breathe. I haven't touched a computer without supervision. I barely have my phone. He reached for the bedside table with shaking fingers and pushed it toward me. Check it. I hesitated, then picked up the folder lying there. Hospital records, admission dates, doctor signatures, medication charts. The dates lined up perfectly. My knees felt weak. If I wanted to hurt you, Alex said softly, I would have done it myself. I wouldn't hide behind whatever that thing is. A cold realization slid through me, slow and sickening. "If it wasn't you," I whispered, "then who used your name?" Alex's eyes darted to the door, as if afraid someone might be listening. "Do you remember the forums I used to be on?" he asked quietly. "The dark ones. The places where people paid to make their anger real." My stomach twisted. "You told me those were just stories." "They weren't," he said. "They traded personal data. Names, photos, obsessions. If someone hated you badly enough, they could buy something to hurt you. Something symbolic, something personal." I felt cold all over. "You think someone bought me? Primera. Ask it." "I think someone bought your pain," Alex replied. Silence swallowed the room. The machines kept humming, indifferent. "I didn't send that doll," he said again, tears filling his eyes. "But someone wanted you to believe I did. Someone wanted you scared and alone." I backed away slowly, my chest tight. "Then it's not over," I said. Alex nodded once. "No, it's just beginning." As I left the hospital, the automatic doors sliding shut behind me, my phone vibrated in my pocket. A new notification. "Unknown sender delivery confirmed." I didn't need to open it to know. Whoever was using Alex's name knew exactly where I had been. I didn't go back to my apartment right away. After leaving the hospital, I sat in my car for nearly an hour, gripping the steering wheel while my thoughts spiraled violently out of control. Alex's words replayed in my head. Dark forums. Traded anger. Bought pain. Every explanation made the situation worse, not better. If Alex wasn't responsible, then whoever was behind this didn't know me personally, which meant they had chosen me. The sun was already sinking when I finally returned home. The hallway outside my apartment felt longer than usual, the fluorescent lights flickering faintly, buzzing like insects trapped in glass. My footsteps echoed too loudly. I checked behind me twice before unlocking the door. Nothing looked disturbed. The apartment was exactly as I had left it to exactly. Clean, silent, waiting. I exhaled shakily and locked the door, sliding the deadbolt into place. My heart rate slowly began to settle. Maybe, just maybe, the worst had already happened. Then I saw the box. It sat in the middle of my living room floor, not near the door, not by the window. Centered, deliberate. My breath caught painfully in my throat. I hadn't ordered anything. No one had a key. The police had checked every possible entry point, yet the package was there. Brown cardboard, pristine and untouched, like it had materialized out of the air. For several seconds, I couldn't move. Fear rooted me in place, crawling up my spine in slow, icy waves. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to leave, to never touch it. But curiosity dark, compulsor, unstoppable. I approached the box cautiously, my pulse thudding in my ears. There was no label this time. No name, no address. Just a symbol scrolled across the top in black marker, a jagged spiral that hurt my eyes if I stared too long. I didn't cut it open. My hands shook too badly. Instead, I nudged the lid with my foot. The smell hit me immediately. Not that dusty sweetness from before. This was different, organic, sour, unmistakable. The scent of something that had once been alive. I gagged and stumbled backward, pressing a hand to my mouth. Inside the box were two things: a sealed plastic bag filled with human hair, and a USB drive. The hair was dark, long, tangled together in uneven clumps. Some strands were braided, others torn out by the roots. I could see bits of dried scalp still attached. The sight made my vision swim, my stomach rolling violently. I dropped to my knees, retching onto the floor beside the box. When I looked again, my eyes locked onto the USB drive. It was black, unmarked, heavier than it should have been. A small red symbol was etched into the metal casing. The same spiral. My hands trembled as I backed away, scrambling to my feet. "No," I whispered. No, no, no. This wasn't a threat. This was proof. Someone wanted me to know that what had happened to me could happen again and worse. I grabbed my phone and called the police. Again, they arrived quickly. but their reaction was different this time. Less skepticism, more tension. One officer put on gloves immediately, carefully sealing the box and its contents into evidence bags. "Did you touch anything?" he asked. I nudged it," I said, my voice barely holding together. It was already open. He nodded grimly. "We'll run tests." "What about the USB?" I asked. "Can you check it?" He hesitated. "Cybercrime unit. We'll handle it." They left after an hour, promising updates I knew would come too slowly. The silence afterward was unbearable. I couldn't stay still. I couldn't sit. I paced the apartment, jumping at every creak, every distant sound. The walls felt too close, as if the space were shrinking around me. Against my better judgment, I pulled out my laptop. I didn't tell the police I had already taken photos of the box before they arrived. I didn't tell them I had memorized the strange symbol etched into the USB. And I definitely didn't tell them that part of me needed to know. I searched the symbol first. Nothing on the surface web. No results. No matches. That should have been the end of it. Instead, it pushed me further. I installed a browser I'd sworn I would never touch. The screen darkened, the interface unfamiliar and unsettling. Pages loaded slowly, deliberately, like something waking up. I entered the symbol again. This time, I got results. Forums with no names. Listings without descriptions. Marketplaces hidden behind layers of encryption. I followed links I didn't understand, my heart pounding louder with every click. Then, I found it. A marketplace page with a black background and red text. The symbol glowed faintly at the top. Scrolling listings filled the screen. Bound object, personalized emotional targeting available. Revenge contract. Verified. My hands went numb. One listing caught my eye. No price. No description. Just a single line beneath it. Status. Delivered. I clicked it. A new window opened, displaying shipping data, scrambled numbers, and encrypted strings. I didn't understand most of it, but one thing was painfully clear. The delivery address was mine. The sender name was masked, distorted into unreadable symbols. But beneath it, in smaller text, was a familiar word. Alias used. Alex. My chest tightened, panic blooming into something darker and deeper than fear. This wasn't over. This wasn't random. Someone had gone to the deep web, paid for something unnatural, and sent it directly into my life wrapped in my past. Fueled by hatred I might never understand, the screen flickered suddenly. A new message appeared. Second confirmation successful. I slammed the laptop shut, my breathing ragged, my body shaking uncontrollably. Somewhere out there, someone was watching the same confirmation, and now they knew that I knew. I told myself not to plug the USB in. I repeated it like a prayer as I sat at my kitchen table. The lights all turned on, curtains pulled tight even though it was still night outside. The USB lay in front of me, small and harmless looking, its black surface swallowing the light. The spiral symbol glinted faintly, as if it recognized me. "Let the police handle it," a rational voice whispered. Another voice, quieter, colder, answered back. "They're already too late." My hands were shaking when I slid the USB into my laptop. For a moment, nothing happened. The screen stayed dark, the fan humming softly. I almost felt relieved until the desktop flickered and a window opened on its own. No title bar, no familiar icons, just a black screen. Red text appeared, letter by letter, like something being typed by an invisible hand. "Welcome back." My stomach dropped. "Back, Primera," whispered. "I've never been here." The text erased itself. A new menu loaded. There were folders, dozens of Tim, each labeled with numbers, symbols, and words that made my skin crawl. Orders, ritual, process. Client testimonials, failures. I hovered the cursor over failures and felt a wave of nausea. I forced myself to click orders instead. A list unfolded. Names, dates, status indicators. Some read active, others read completed. A few were marked terminated. I didn't recognize any of the names until I saw mine. It sat there quietly among the others, stark and undeniable. Target, My full name status. Active phase. 1 complete. My chest constricted so tightly I thought I might pass out. My vision blurred, and I had to grip the edge of the table to keep myself upright. No, I breathed. This isn't real. The cursor moved on its own. A video file opened, the screen filled with static, accompanied by a low humming sound that vibrated uncomfortably in my ears. Then, the image cleared. A room appeared dimly lit, windowless, the walls stained and cracked like an abandoned basement. Candles lined the floor in uneven circles, their flames flickering unnaturally, bending inward as if drawn towards something unseen. At the center of the circle sat a doll. Not the doll. Another one. This one looked different older, more decayed but unmistakably human in shape. Its fabric skin was stretched tight, stitched crudely together. Symbols were carved into its chest and limbs, soaked in something dark and sticky. A hooded figure stepped into view. Their face was hidden, voice distorted when they spoke. Living dolls, the figure said calmly, almost cheerfully. Bound objects created through ritual transference. Each doll is crafted for one purpose, only to mirror, to follow, and to harm. The camera zoomed in on the doll's face. Glass eyes stared lifelessly into the lens. Creation requires 3 things, the voice continued. A vessel, a history, and a name. The video cut to flashes of preparation, hair being cut. Photographs spread across the table, handwritten notes filled with obsessive detail addresses, habits, fears. My breath caught painfully. Those notes looked like mine. The buyer does not need to know magic, the voice said. Only hatred, grief, obsession. We provide the rest. The ritual began. The hooded figures chanted in a language that scraped against my ears, syllables twisting unnaturally, refusing to settle into sense. The candles flared brighter, casting distorted shadows that crawled along the walls like living things. A knife appeared. The blade sliced into the doll, as if fabric skin, and dark liquid spilled out, not stuffing, not thread, but something thick and red. I slapped a hand over my mouth, bile rising in my throat. This binds the object to the target, the voice explained. Pain for pain, memory for memory. The doll's eyes opened. I screamed and slammed the laptop shut, my chair scraping violently across the floor as I stumbled backward. My heart pounded so hard it felt like it might burst. I pressed both hands against my ears, as if I could block out what I had seen. The laptop reopened itself. The video resumed. My name appeared across the screen in red. Target confirmed. Beneath it, a list scrolled downward. Personal history uploaded, emotional profile. High response attachment nodes. Ex-intimate Alex. I shook my head violently. No. Another video opened automatically. This one was shorter. Security camera footage. My apartment. I stared in horror as grainy footage showed me sleeping in my bed, tossing restlessly beneath the blankets. The timestamp matched the night of the first attack. The camera angle shifted. The doll stood at the foot of my bed, watching. This phase tests compatibility. The distorted voice narrates. If the object is accepted by the target's environment, it becomes permanent. Accepted. I tasted the word like poison. I hadn't just been attacked. I had been evaluated. The next folder opened without my input. Client testimonials' faces appeared on screen, blurred but unmistakably human. Voices distorted, but emotions raw. It worked, one said, laughing shakily. I didn't even have to touch her. I just gave them his name. Another whispered. They did the rest. I didn't think it would move, someone said softly. I didn't think it would talk to him. I slammed the laptop shut again, harder this time, knocking it onto the floor. It hit with a dull crack, the screen finally going dark. The apartment felt wrong. Too quiet. Aware. I wrapped my arms around myself, rocking slightly, my thoughts spiraling into panic. Someone had bought this. Someone had paid to turn my life into a ritual experiment. Antea dinti, nida my consent only mine in my past. Slowly, dreadfully. I realized something worse. They knew everything. Alex. The breakup. My fears. My routines. I hadn't been chosen randomly. I had been selected because I was vulnerable. My phone buzzed beside me. I flinched so hard it slipped off the table. With shaking hands, Primera picked it up. Unknown number. A single message. Phase 1 successful. Please remain available for continuation. I dropped the phone as if it had burned me. Somewhere deep in the web far beyond laws. Beyond morality, someone was watching progress bars fill. Checking boxers. Waiting eagerly for the next phase. And the doll, that I wasn't finished with me yet. The first thing I noticed was that the apartment no longer felt empty when I came home. It felt occupied. Not in the obvious, when nothing was out of place. No furniture overturned, no doors left open, but the air itself seemed aware of me. Heavy, watchful. As if something inside the walls had learned my schedule and was waiting for the sound of my key in the lock. I didn't see the doll at first. That terrified me more than when it appeared. I moved slowly through the apartment, every muscle tight, my heart beating so loudly I was sure it could be heard from the hallway. The lights flicked on one by one, chasing shadows into corners but never fully erasing them. Please, I whispered to no one, just stay where you are. The doll was sitting at the dining table, not slumped, not discarded, seated upright, its stitched hands folded neatly, its head tilted slightly, as if listening for something. For me. I staggered back, my heel catching on the rug. You're not real, I said aloud, my voice shaking. You're not. It turned its head. Not. Jerky. Not sudden. Smooth. Deliberate. I felt my stomach drop as terror flooded my body. Hot and suffocating. My hands went numb, my fingers tingling as if electricity were crawling beneath my skin. Tinette spoke. Why did you leave me? The voice was low, familiar, intimate. Alex's voice. Primera. Escréame. The sound ripped out of me, raw and uncontrolled, echoing violently off the walls. My knees buckled and I had to grab the counter to stay upright. My chest burned as I struggled to breathe. That's not your voice, I sobbed. Stop it. Stop using him. The doll's stitched mouth didn't move. The sound came from inside it. I waited. It continued. Softer now. Accusatory. Heard you said you'd never abandon me. Memories slammed into me without warning. Alex standing in my doorway, eyes red, voice trembling as he begged me to stay. The words were identical. Perfect. How do you know that? I whispered. The doll's head tilted further. It slid off the chair. Its feet touched the floor, and it walked toward me. I ran. I bolted down the hallway, nearly slipping on the tiles as panic overtook coordination. I slammed the bathroom door shut behind me and locked it. My hands shaking so badly I almost missed the latch. I backed away until my spine hit the cold ceramic wall. Go away, I screamed. Please just go away. Silence. For 3 terrifying seconds. Nothing happened. Then, tap, tap, tap. Small, precise. Knocks on the bathroom door. I know you hate water. Alex's voice whispered from the other side. You always said it made you feel trapped. My blood turned to ice. I had never told anyone else that. The doorknob twisted violently. I screamed again as the lock snapped with a sharp crack. The door flew open, slamming against the wall so hard the mirror rattled. The doll stood there, its glass eyes reflecting the harsh bathroom light. It rushed me. I tried to push past it, but it was stronger than before, impossibly strong. Its small hands clamped around my wrist, its grip crushing, painful. I cried out as it dragged me across the tiles toward the bathtub. I kicked wildly, my heels striking the edge of the sink. Pain exploded through my foot, but I didn't stop. I clawed at the floor, at the shower curtain, at anything. The tub loomed closer. The faucet turned on by itself. Water poured out in a roaring rush, steam rising as it heated instantly. The sound filled the room, drowning out my screams. You'll be quiet here, the doll said gently, Alex's voice soothing, loving. You always calm down eventually. It shoved me forward. My back hit the edge of the tub hard enough to knock the breath from my lungs. I gasped desperately as the doll forced me down, its weight pressing onto my shoulders, pushing my head toward the rising water. My face broke the surface. Water flooded my mouth and nose, burning, choking. Panic exploded inside my chest as my body fought violently for air. I thrashed, hitting blindly, my hands slipping on wet porcelain. I'm going to die, my mind screamed. This is how it ends. My fingers closed around something metal, the shower head. With the last of my strength, I ripped it free and swung it wildly. The heavy metal slammed into the doll's head with a dull, wet crack. The pressure vanished. I sucked in air desperately, coughing violently as I scrambled backward out of the tub. My lungs burned, my throat raw and screaming. Water spilled over the edge, flooding the floor. The doll lay tangled in the shower curtain, motionless. For one horrifying moment, I waited for it to rise again. It didn't. I didn't stop moving. I ran barefoot through the apartment, slipping, crashing into furniture, grabbing my phone with shaking hands. I dialed emergency services so hard my thumb slipped. Please, I sobbed when the operator answered. Please, send help. It tried to kill me. It tried to drown me. Ma'am, slow down, the operator said. Who tried to hurt you? The doll, I cried. The doll I told you about. It's learning. It knows my memories. It sounds like my ex. Please, please, hurry. Sirens wailed in the distance minutes later, though it felt like hours. I sat on the floor near the front door, my knees pulled to my chest, shaking uncontrollably. My body ached everywhere, bruises already blooming beneath my skin. The police burst in, weapons drawn. They found the bathroom flooded. They found broken fixtures. They found bruises on my arms, fingerprints too small to be human. But when they pulled back the shower curtain, the doll lay there, lifeless, just fabric, just thread, just glass eyes staring blankly at nothing. One officer looked at me carefully. It didn't move when we came in, he said. I hugged myself tighter, tears streaming down my face. That's because, I whispered hoarsely, it already knows how to hide. As they led me out of the apartment for my own safety, he felt it, then a presence behind my eyes, a memory that wasn't mine. The doll had learned my fear, and next time, it wouldn't rush. It will wait.